Did you know that Disney's magical beginnings were anything but smooth? Or that the moon's size in the sky is a lucky cosmic coincidence? Get ready to have your mind blown by these fascinating tidbits from history, science, and pulp culture. 30 random facts to make your day. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Know Your Deets. Today, we're diving into another round of random but utterly captivating facts to make your day just a little brighter. From bizarre tales of rabbit attacks to Olympic surprises, these stories are guaranteed to fascinate, amuse, and even make you trivia champion at your next party. Let's jump right in. In geometry, a great circle, also known as an orthodome, is an intersection of the sphere and a plane that passes through the center point of the sphere. The equator is perhaps the most famous great circle of them all, as it bisects the Earth into the northern and southern hemispheres. Disney is known for their excellent park management and smooth visitor experiences. But those are skills the company learned the hard way. Opening day of Disneyland in 1955 was a disaster with roughly a quarter of the park unfinished, most of the rides unavailable, insane overcrowding, half of the park's guests had counterfeit tickets, the concession stands ran out of food and drinks by lunchtime, and Sleeping Beauty's castle caught on fire. Surveys of Olympic medal winners find that gold medalists are the happiest, followed by bronze medalists, with silver medalists being the least happy of the three. The theory is that those who win silver medals are always left knowing they were so close to getting the gold, whereas bronze medal winners tend to simply be happy to have won a medal at all. In 1990, Willie Nelson had nearly everything he owned confiscated and sold by the IRS to pay a mountain of back taxes and fines due to fund mismanagement by his accounting firm. One of his few possessions to escape confiscation was his iconic guitar, Trigger, all thanks to his daughter, who smuggled the guitar out of his home in Texas and hid it in Hawaii until the heat died down. Chipotle peppers are not a unique pepper, but are simply smoked jalapeno peppers. The practice dates back to the Aztecs, who would dry the jalapenos, that dry too slowly in the sun, over fires to preserve them. During periods of hyperinflation after World War I, German workers would be paid twice daily and would shop during their midday breaks to avoid getting further dinged by rising prices. Gold, a highly ductile element, can easily be stretched into a long and thin wire. 1 ounce of gold will yield a wire 80 kilometers long. Karaoke, the popular form of entertainment wherein amateur singers sing along the instrumental tracks of well-known popular songs, means empty orchestra when translated directly from Japanese into English. Ketchup was sold in the 1830s as medicine. In 1834, it was sold as a cure for an upset stomach by an Ohio physician named John Cook. It wasn't popularized as a condiment until the late 19th century. 40 is the only number that is spelled with its letters in alphabetical order. According to Pixar, there were a whopping 1,484,437 little toy monkeys spilled out of the barrel of monkeys in the opening sequence of Toy Story 3. Variations on the term superhero are jointly claimed trademarks shared between DC Comics and Marvel. 1967 and 1983 were great years for James Bond fans. The film franchise spans over 60 years, but those 2 years are the only ones that saw 2 film releases within the same year. Casino Royale and You Only Live Twice in 1967, and Octopussy and Never Say Never Again in 1983. The sequel to the movie Hot Tub Time Machine was going to be Hot Tub Time Machine 3, a joke hinging on the time-traveling premise of the series. But the studio executives thought it would be way too confusing to consumers. The most popular name in the US during the 1980s, ranking number 1 from 1980 straight through to 1989, was Michael, The Erwangdong cave system in China is so large that it has its own weather system. The massive and aptly named Cloud Ladder Hall, roughly 12.5 acres in size, with the roof around 250 meters high, is filled with fog and a thick cloud. Despite their radically different actual sizes, the moon and the sun appear to be nearly the same size in the sky. This is a complete coincidence that hinges entirely on the fact that the moon is 1/400th the size of the sun, but also 1/400th the distance from Earth. There is no evidence that this scale arrangement is shared by any other planet and moon in our solar system. The Spanish brought so much gold and silver home from the Americas between the 15th and 17th centuries, approximately a span of 150 years, that it caused significant inflation and damage to the European economy. The name of the popular and cheap beer Pabst Blue Ribbon implies that the beer won a first place award ribbon, but in fact, it's merely a reference to the blue ribbons that adorned the bottles when the beer was first created in the 19th century. The chocolate between the wafers of a Kit Kat bar isn't the same chocolate used on the exterior of the bars. It's made from mashed up Kit Kat bars that failed their quality checks because of exterior air bubbles, off center wafers, other imperfections, or simply not being shiny enough. The surname of iconic Nintendo character Mario is also Mario, making his full name Mario Mario. Quality champagne glassware features microscopic etchings in the bottom of the glass to serve as a nucleation point for the carbonation bubbles. Modern day New Zealand and New Caledonia are the highest points of the continental fragment of Zeldania, a massive 4.9 million square kilometer landmass that broke away from Gondwana 79 to 83 million years ago. Lanthorn is an archaic spelling of lantern, because animal horns that had been scraped thin and flattened were used in place of glass in early lanterns. The play, fast forward, and rewind button logos were originally intended to indicate the direction that the tape media would move if you pressed the button. From 1912 to 1948, the Olympic Games held competitions in the fine arts. Medals were given for literature, architecture, sculpture, painting, and music. Obviously, the art created was required to be Olympic themed. The 6 giraffe species, West African, Rothschild, Reticulated, Maasai, Angolan, and South African, all have fur patterns that are adapted to the foliage and climate they live in. Famous conqueror Napoleon Bonaparte was once attacked by a horde of bunnies. He had requested that a rabbit hunt be arranged for himself and his men. When the rabbits were released from their cages, the bunnies charged towards Bonaparte and his men in an unstoppable onslaught. Vidalia onions are named after Vidalia, Georgia. The onions were historically grown there and are still grown all over Georgia. Farmers attribute the sweetness of Vidalia onions to the low sulfur content of Georgian soil. The first hard drive was introduced by IBM in 1956. The IBM 350 disk file had 50 0.6 meter wide platters and a total storage capacity of 3.7 megabytes, a far cry from today's gigabytes and terabyte hard drives. That's a wrap for today's mind-expanding journey into the world of random facts. Which one amazed you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to know what you think. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to know your deets for more factual content coming your way soon. Until next time, stay curious, and you have a great day.